Okay. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Should be live. Waiting for everything to come up. Okay. Are we? And it looks like we are live. So recording from Arlington, Vermont. This is Happy Valley Hobbies. And these are hobbies that make me happy. And what we were sort of continuing for last week, I was planning on doing a lot more stuff with oh, okay. Apparently I can do this. All right. Let's see. I'm still trying to figure out where to put stuff on my computer screens. Oh, looks like we'll just go with this for now. And last week was working on a diorama with hello Randall, and how are you doing this evening? It's one of the things I was planning on doing today was to continue on building the diorama, but something came in. So probably what I'll wind up doing is starting off with an unboxing. Something a little bit, probably not as long as some of the things that Heath from Humanity Junction is sort of, I guess now infamous of taking a long time to open up a box. Basically the box itself is something that's going to be on Nutrex modeling. Basically, it's going to be another build along. They have I've already done a build along with the trestle, which was the idea for what one of the dioramas is. So I'm thinking about, this is another bridge, so there's a good chance that I'll turn around and make a different diorama for this particular bridge. Ooh, well, it's nice that that you are feeling better than you were last night. It is one of those things of, it is annoying when you're not up at 100%. And hopefully you are on the mend. It sounds, Randall, that you are on the mend, which is a good thing. It's one of those things of, it's always a good thing to have people healthy. And that's what I think we all want to be, is on the healthy side. So, well, without a further ado, let me switch cameras, which shows the diorama that I finished off last week. As you can see, the green is a little bit, if you ask me, it's a little bit more fluorescent than I would have liked, but it was a cheap paint. Sorry for the bouncing and all that, because of the camera. The webcam is not what you want to call on a steady setup, but it works. Eventually I'll get a more professional mount for it. Right now it's sort of hanging in midair, but as you can see, everything is all nice and dry now. But it's a little bit brighter than I would have wanted. I might repaint this and turn around and actually mix the two colors, because it is a brighter green than wanted. But let's start off with putting this to the side so I can turn around and show you a box. A box that is dangerous. And it's even got the, the warning label. And even the box, the Uline box, is hazardous packaging materials package. And it's one of those things of it's dangerous because of the chemicals that are in it on the inside. Even though the chemicals themselves are not as they're not absolutely dangerous, but there is some concerns on how it should be handled. And I did not set up for myself with a knife. That's just right. It's like, could have sworn I had a knife or something to cut it with, or appropriate cutting material. Let's see. Here we are. Knew I had something within arm's reach. All right. Now, they said this is a build along that I'm going to be doing with new tracks. Yeah, I actually do have a tripod, but unfortunately, the tripod can't really fit over the bench. But that is one thing that I'm going to have to figure out eventually, of doing the camera setup properly, having it so not only with where the setting it up not only for the camera and all that, but also for where I can read, a better looking at how to read what the live chat is doing, etc. As we open up said box, which also has instructions on how to ship hazardous stuff, because it is a Uline box. We have the ever so fun and popular bubble wrap, which can be reused for other things. Paper, which also can be reused for other things. Like parts for a pills for a diorama and stuff like that. That is one package. There's multiple packages in. That's an empty bag. One of those things of, oh, hello. Let's see. Better. And there's another package, and so we are done with that. I just saw on YouTube the delay for the camera view. So I saw myself upside down, so it's like, whoa, hello. Yeah, it needs to be a much tighter bend and all that. Now let's go with the dangerous portion of the box. And this is Hunterline's Weathering Mix, the blue-gray. The other one is Barn Red. So these are the basically with the build along. You got the kit itself, and then you had choice of 2 different weathering mixes. Now I have weathering mixes from Hunterline from the last time I bought something for the for this build along, which is trestle that they have, and I think it came out pretty well and all that. If you notice on the 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 bridge itself is sort of done in the driftwood color, but it is suggested, for doing the ties and all that, to do different colors. Because of a slight error on my part, I wound up having to buy another. Wound up buying an extra bottle of the Hunterline mix, which I have driftwood, creosote, and I think it's Thai brown. Now I got blue gray and barn red. Now for the kit itself that I bought. Thing is that they do most of the wrapping because of the bottles of the mix, which are plastic, so it's not as dangerous as if it was plastic bottles. Here, and I wound up knocking it. All right, and here it is. This is the 50-foot queen post truss covered bridge. And that's what it's just like with everything that Hunterline has. They have a picture of what the final product is supposed to look like, or a suggestion of what it's supposed to look like. It will eventually be the same size as this, because this is this is a 50-foot queen post truss bridge, not covered. This is sort of the naked bridge. So now I'm getting a covered bridge. Now, one of the interesting things that I thought was different, there's these extra legs that come out to support the truss, which, as you can see in this picture, is not there. Which at first I thought, gee, shouldn't this also have the truss on there? Actually, you can just barely see the queen post, right on the edge there, sort of like what this would be. Then you could also probably you can't quite tell, but you can also see the edge of the. Actually, you can't even probably see it. Here, these are a little better. as you can these are the, I'm trying to think what they're called now, but one of the interesting things of stringers, that's what they're called, stringers on the end. One of the things that the Hunterline does come with, they do have drawings of what particular bridges are. Now with the interesting thing is with actually, instead of saying standard gauge and narrow gauge, they have 16-inch clearance, 16-foot clearance, and 14-foot clearance. Now, from my understanding, in the instructions for the Queen Post, it's truss bridge. They say that this 14-foot clearance is per the typical standard gauge. However, the NMRA standards suggest 16-foot clearance because there's much shorter curvature, track, and etc. So this is set up as the 16-foot clearance is NMRA standard gauge. The 14-inch clearance is prototypical. Prototypical clearance. But this is set up as the NMRA HON3 clearance. So this is more prototypical of a standard gauge bridge, but this is more of a model clearance. So I actually take that as using this as broad gauge because of I'm planning on making this as a 6 foot gauge, which would technically be about at least a foot wider, or maybe even more gauge wise, because standard gauge has a loading gauge in the U.S. at 10 feet. But 6 foot was 6 foot was set up as having a loading gauge of 11 foot. So, all right, now on to opening up what we have in the kit. Now, I'm going to do this sort of a preview of how they set things up. All right, so we slice the top off. Ooh, I haven't played this. It's tight. Okay. Now we'll slowly poke this out. Oh, it's actually stapled down there. That's why it won't. Interesting. Interesting that they've decided to go that route. But, good thing I got things that will take care of that. Where is it stapled in? Well, there's staples that we got to get there eventually. So, huh? Oh, that's interesting. They stapled it, then sealed it. Because it's The staples go through here, but they're not through here. So that's sort of interesting. I don't remember this the last time I bought one of their kits. This must either just happen to have a kit that went this direction, or I opened it up differently. I do not remember having to do this. Well, hello, Go Be and Go Home. Thank you for showing up for this unboxing of a kit that I'm going to be doing through Nutrex Modeling. We're going to be having a Hunterline is actually Rick and Maureen Hunter. He does most of the sales, sort of the sales portion of it, and Maureen does the model making. And of course, there's banter that we're there to see Maureen, not him, but not Rick, but both are good people, in my opinion. Okay. Now, this is not coming up. But Rick did a lot of research on these bridges and trestles. So he's a very knowledgeable guy. All right. There's all stuff. And one nice thing that they do with the wood and all that is that they put them in individual bags with the sizes on them. So you got 1x6. So there's some of the ties, which are 8x8s, 8x14s, 8x12s. 3x6s, 10x6, 8x8s. Now, if you notice that these say 8x8, but there's also 8x8 ties. These 8x8s are for something very specific, where the ties are cut pretty much the same size. Well, hello, Anthony. How are you doing this evening? You're just you're seeing me in the process of taking opening up the box or / bag for the 50-foot queen post covered bridge by Hunterline. It's an all wood kit. It also there's a roof sheathing. They also, one of the nice things is, as I said before, now you can probably get a better look at it, is an actual picture of what the bridge should look like at the end. This one's a little bit more, I would say, weathered and weather beaten than I'm planning on. Making it a relatively new bridge, or at least well maintained. And let's see what else. One of the important things is that they actually have what the kit contains. Some of it's sort of generic, like precise scale strip basswood. Instead of saying exactly, how many ties, or the size of the ties and all that. Here's the roof shakes that over the wood sheathing. 3x10s, 1x12s, 6x6s. Each are all interly made. So we got all the strip basswood, the laser cut shapes. Ties are pre-cut. Drawings are accurate templates. So this, I'm assuming, is the drawings. They look drawing-ish. Oh, here we are. So, all right. Yeah, it shows how the gable rafter templates are supposed to be. Actually shows different rafters, the end view. This is what the side view of what the queen post is. That's interesting. Unlike the other queen posts that I built, which, as you can see, it's pretty much almost the same size. This actually has like a cable or wire setup for the cross bracing, whereas it looks like the cross bracing on the cover bridge is actually wood. So that's interesting difference. Also, as I said a little bit earlier, the end view, it's like you got these external bracing on the outsides that stick out. But since this is fully enclosed, you don't need the outside bracing because the bracing is the roof. So, and this actually has up over here, it says the bill of materials. Not only the scale size, but the actual size of what the pieces are. Let's see. Like you got here, you got ties and end shims. They're both the same size, except that the ties are pre-cut, whereas the end shims, you only have one piece. It's 12 inches long that you have to cut out 4 pieces. And I think the ties are the only ones that are pre-cut. You also got nut and bolt washer castings, which is the only thing that's not wood. I think everything else is wood here. But yeah, you got the gable rafter template. So the typical rafter template. You even got a template for the sign. It shows you how to do the different styles. I guess there's 2 different styles of cross bracing. You either have a lap joint where you sort of take out notches and then put them in, or cut a piece in half and go that direction. But those are that's the drawings that sort of help you, with what the end is. As with the picture and all that, you got the little sign that says, usually, if I remember correctly, it usually says what kind of bridge it is, and then sometimes the date that it was built. And this is the manual itself. It actually goes, talks about the history of the bridge. It was very popular between the 1700s and 1800s. Basically, the Queen Post was an offshoot of the King Post. The King Post was a much shorter bridge. Basically, a King Post only had one vertical member on it. So basically, it was this part and that part with sort of shrunk together. As far as I know, they don't make a King Post covered bridge. But who knows what happens here. Let's see that way. But the thing is that this bridge, either the naked version or the covered version, can be it's designed to be used for the railroads, but can also by adding planks this direction and all that, it could be turned into a road bridge. And I actually came across searching for this, especially since also I want to say there's two covered bridges that are less than a mile from my house. So I got the different different ones. That's interesting. It says a Vermont Railroad Bridge. I wonder where in Vermont that is. Oh, wait a second. I know where that is. There's a museum. There is a museum that actually has the last operating railroad bridge, covered railroad bridge. It's on the east side of the state. I'm on the west, so there's a mountain range on in the oh, I'm not quite sure where this one is, but it's again a Vermont covered bridge. But apparently, this used to be a railroad bridge, but it was converted into a road bridge. And excuse me, as I said, they usually just put planks over the ties, and the way you went. It looks like the instructions are for the standard and the narrow gauge, because that's the standard and narrow. So, and of course, then you got the general instructions of how to use stuff. How to glue, how to do the suggestions on how to do the sub assemblies. Nice colored photographs. Basically, weathering, distressing the wood. And things like of course, suggesting their own weather mix, for weathering. They also they suggest staining everything before gluing. So basically, you're distressing the wood first, then adding the weather mix, and then gluing. And also shows you some of the things that they do to how to do weathering with their specific mix. Since it is alcohol, they do suggest wearing gloves. Probably a smart idea to do it into a well ventilated area. And also how to clean up. And also, how to look, the different colors. Even suggest the different, what the different colors are. Uh, and also how to use the nut and bolt washer castings. Which, if you're new to do that, new to this style of actually, they probably should have put this a little bit further into the instructions. This actually shows a picture of the king post. That's what a king post looks like. As you can see, it only has one vertical bracing and all that, and instead of the two that the queen post has. But wax paper, which, well, I got the wax paper already ready to go. Disposable containers. What I've been using is basically plastic cups. Not necessarily the solo kind, but going that direction. The X-Acto knife, a cutting mat, disposable gloves, wire nippers, small files, a rigid work surface, which, well, the work surface is relatively rigid. It's not rock solid, but it's rigid to what I've been doing. And now it goes into the different sub-assemblies and how everything's supposed to go together eventually. That's interesting. It says, but bridge assembly completed, which, well, technically it is. The bridge itself is completed, but I would assume this building sub-assembly is for the covered portion of it, and doing the walls. Yeah, they're doing this a little bit more weathered, which that makes it easier to see what the bracing and everything on the inside is. But I'm leaning towards making a bridge that's sort of better maintained. Maybe with a single piece of wood out that even the most maintained bridges and all that maybe something wound up breaking and missing and no one got to repair to it yet. But oh, okay. And we have the sign, the Hunter Bridge, 1840. All right, so it looks like the bridge already has a name. So when I get really I'm trying to use all using all the scale or all the letters for changing the name, but I might leave it as the Hunter Bridge. That's what the instructions are. Then slightly out of the way. And yeah, it actually shows the dimensions, the footprints, how high it's going to be. See, the height is going, or the clearance, I should say, to 3/16. And the clearance is 3 16 inches. Since I have measuring device right here, let's go. So that's 4 16. So that is what the height is. Color logos. Oh, plenty of things. As you can see here, it's like it's nowhere. See, the locomotive itself is about locomotives. I don't want to say a good whole inch clearance that way. And clearance this way. This. And it looks like you're gonna have almost an inch clearance that way also. Now, one of the interesting things with the reason why I'm using this particular locomotive or I should say locomotive model, since I do have more than one. These are the interesting thing is that these are actually not HO but OO, from my understanding. So that's why when you put these against another HO scale locomotive, these things look massively huge. Just because, well, they're massively huge. Huh. That's why that looks that way. So we put that back together before we lose all the parts. Back. Yeah. So we put that in. I'm actually surprised I didn't lose the screw because sort of like very carelessly put there. It did not go out. And sometimes there's definitely gymnastics in trying to get stuff together here. Got in one. I think we got it in two. Unfortunately, my video setup is not. I don't have the computer. I don't have the computer screen in front of me. It's off to the side. So there's a lot of times I have to sort of like look over to my right shoulder to find out where stuff is, because it's not really set up to the. It's set up to either be doing you know, video stuff or working on the workbench, not necessarily doing both at the same time. But as you can see, they also suggest when you're doing weathering or anything with the pieces of wood that you do one bag at a time, and then once you're done doing what you're doing, like distressing and staining the pieces of wood and all that, put it back into the same thing with the labels on there so you can keep track of stuff. But this, and the thing is, they also, from what I've seen so far, they actually turn around and actually give extra parts. So there's a good chance that you're going to have stuff leftover parts, which is it's the reason for that is that if you make a mistake, you don't have to turn around and, oh gee, we need to order another part. It's like you have extra parts, so you don't have to worry about ordering another part and then waiting some time for that part to come in. But yeah, this is pretty much all the parts, all the parts and pieces. As you can see, these are the only for this particular kit. These are the only things that are not wood, which are the nut and bolt washer castings. Everything else is wood. So it's going to be interesting on how I'm going to approach this. I'm thinking doing the sides, the barn red. The thing is that with the Nutrax modeling, if you contact Rick Hunter, or I think it's Rick at Hunterline.com, and said, hey, we're going to be doing this, or you want to do the Nutrax modeling build along. I think it's only before the build along. I don't think that if you order it after the build along, I don't think you'll get the same discount. I'm assuming, or not. I'm not sure if it's a discount. So I know I think it's a discount and 2 bottles, but I'm not quite sure. It might be the kit's the same size, but you get the weathering mix, which it's technically you could build it without any weathering and all that, but it would be very, very odd being an unweathered or even an unpainted bridge, because they at least the covered bridges were at least the outsides were painted. Sometimes on the inside, if I remember correctly, painting on the inside was a new thing. I could be wrong, but I don't believe that they really covered the inside. But I could be because they're trying to save paint, so they would only do the outside because the inside didn't was covered and didn't need to be painted. But I could be wrong on that. This railroad bridge is near the New Hampshire border, if I remember correct. One of these things with a possible road trip in the future. But at this point in time, this way again. This point in time, I'll start putting things back into the bag. Mainly because doing the sort of trying to keep along with the build along, which is starting soon. Starting soon from the recording of what I'm doing now. That. Well, I guess apparently I'm actually well enough to get a Russian bot. Interesting. Uh, Now I can get here and find user on this channel. Well, it looks like I might actually have to step up my game and actually start figuring out ways to, uh, keep Russian bots out. I know a lot of guys have it set up where, somebody has to be subscribed for a certain amount of time uh, to be able to post. So that's one thing I got to figure out. One of the many things I still have to learn about YouTube, but that's why I had to put in Humanity Junction's Discord. It's like, hey, I got a Russian bot tonight. So not only is the Ukraine being invaded, but so is my YouTube channel. But so we have everything put away. Here. And basically this will be saved for the build along. Had to do a deeper dive with the instructions, but that's all for the unboxing. But yeah, basically what the bridge is going to look like is a covered version of this. And as I said before, I'm going to be doing, both these bridges are going to be done with 6-foot broad gauge, which will fit on these. And then eventually I'm going to see about trying to get wheel sets that are either S gauge or probably more close to the S gauge than actual HOW6, because well, no one no one makes the HOW6 yet, so it's one of those things of I'm blazing a trail by myself. My plan is to use code 55 rail, which incidentally, it seems to be cheaper in N scale track instead of buying an individual rail. So I bought N scale track, turn around and basically to take off the ties and use the rails just on here. I do have a couple, a length or two of code 40, which I'm going to be using for the bridge guardrails. And going from there. So, all right. Bring back the diagram that I started last week. Put this here so it's not on the floor. Now, let's see, what time is it? All right, looks like it might be time to start wandering. Start wandering this down. It's like 7:55. Well, Rift, I would give you the Zoom link and passcode, but however, I'm planning on coming off at 8 o'clock. So maybe if you get on, that's not what we wanted. Start video. There we go. Got caught there. All right, a little behind the scenes there. Rift right now. Getting ready to shut everything down. So if you want to try again next week, a little bit earlier. I do believe you asked before, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I would say try again next week. I do my best to start around at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and as you can tell, I'm a little tired. My new job had me bouncing around all over the place today, so even with a power nap beforehand, I'm still. But not. I know that there's a Third Rail Thursday. I don't know offhand who is on. Hold on one second. Do a silly thing called schedule. Oh, that's Sunday, 2 far forward. All right, Third Rail Thursday. Today is the 10th, so it should be go via or go home, which I'm not quite sure if they're still on. I'm assuming they've wandered off to start their own thing. So I guess I'll be turning around and closing things right now. So I guess I'll do my outro of the world needs more love. Find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it all over the place. And thank you for watching, and also putting things or chatting in the chat room and all that. And I'll see you guys next week. Ooh, wait a second. Not that button. The other.